All right, hello everybody. This is Yara here, and I'm over here with the almighty Nash, which
Hello, guys.
which is actually considered to be by some people the king of Dueling Book. He, I believe, has the highest experience in Dueling Book, and he is currently the fourth place in Dueling Book. But I'm assuming you've been first multiple times on Dueling Book in the past, right?
Yeah, I did multiple times. Not in every meta because I was busy with my studying.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a nurse and I'm getting a master in what's the name? I don't remember the name in English. It should be yeah. Okay, so basically it's nursing. Okay, so studying my master in nursing. So that's it.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're not just all on Yu-Gi-Oh. You're also going to school and everything at the same time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm actually a nurse, so I'm graduated. I'm just getting the master.
Oh, okay.
It's another graduate.
Gotcha. And also, for everybody that doesn't know, Nash created and he manages a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh Discord where he holds money matches, like multiple price pots. So from like I don't know what's the lowest amount that you do. So do you have a lowest amount?
Basically, I mean, the minimum amount we do is basically $20 to $25 per game.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, like I said to you previously, we created that place because there were scammers on the Facebook page. So I wanted to create a safe place with a lot of middlemen, so a lot of people I trust which can hold the monies, and a lot of sponsors. So we have currently we have 11 middlemen and 9 sponsors. So
Wow.
if you are a good player and the sponsor notices you, he can actually sponsor you for cash games of IX stacks. So when I talk about cash games with IX stacks, I'm talking about $300 cash games.
Wow. $300. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yes, our sponsor get the from the 20 to 30%. So if you lose, you don't lose anything if you get sponsored.
Mhm.
But if you win, the sponsor will get from 20 30% of the
Wow.
price, the total price.
Oh, that is very cool. I didn't know that. So that means that if you're not that good of a player, but you also want to like get a chance to win money, you can sponsor a good player to compete for you,
Yes,
basically,
you
right? Mm.
can do that. Yes, you can do that. We also had a very big Ironman.
Mm-hmm.
Not on the was right before the Colosseum. It was for $2,000.
Wow.
It was for $2,000. Yes, against Ani. I don't know if you Ani Jawari.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he played for $2,000.
Yeah. Speaking of.
Unfortunately,
Mhm.
unfortunately, the replay are not on the page.
Yeah.
I could manage to get them to be posted, but it's a very old form. It's another format. It's one
Gotcha.
format ago.
Gotcha. All right. And speaking of like high stake money matches, I saw your $1,000 wager match on the DB Grinder that was posted like 4 months ago or something. I can't remember. You were going up against Deadly B7. Do you know the?
Yeah, that was funny because he was trash talking on BW.
Uh huh.
So, and because I mean, obviously, Dragon Link at the time was a very competitive deck. I also acknowledged the fact it was a very competitive deck, but at the time, my deck was focused to beat the deck because I was also playing in the main deck Ogre in the
Mm-hmm.
ladder. So I have managed to find the choke point of the was boot sector at the time. So if I was stopping boot sector, most of his ends were just a seal pass, which is still huge against VW. But if you are playing um, calamities, then you have a 50-50 on the dice roll, and then you can still manage to play different routes to end still with calamities. I can send you my old spreadsheet.
Okay.
It has currently my old spreadsheet had like 84 combos to end with calamity.
Wow.
I can send you right now.
Sure. I mean, if you want afterwards. So, no, I was laughing throughout the whole like match because like I saw that like I think it was like a best out of three matches, right? And then like I saw like the whole
Oh, at
time.
best of five.
Oh yeah, best
Best
of
of
five.
five.
Yeah. So I saw like the whole time, Yeah, we're like trash talking each other. You were doing most of the trash talking, which I loved it. I love the trash talk. Do you think that trash talking makes games more interesting?
I don't know if you ever watched the um,
Hmm.
arm of wrestling, the sport of arm of wrestling.
Yeah, yeah, wrestling.
Okay, so um, in that uh, in that sport, there is a lot of trash talking, and it makes the things a lot more funny and more interesting. I can link you later something really funny about the arm of wrestling. So I think in sport, when there is someone which trash talk or attack mentally his opponent, okay, so when you make your opponent upset about something, I think it works in your favor most of the times because it is more inclined to misplay, is more inclined to do some stupid shit. So
Yeah.
advantage out of them.
Yeah, I got you. So it's like a mind thing, right? Where like if you get on their head, it works in your favor, right?
Yes, I mean remember it was for $1,000. Like I'm not saying chilled. It's not like, oh, take your time, do the best play, don't worry. I'm here.
Yeah, I could say that it was getting to him towards the end of the matches. Like he looked kind of tilted on the comments that he was making, um, which of course you ended up winning. So that was pretty interesting. Um,
I was very close to lose that. He was and he is currently one of the best player I know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He always
he's
tops at
he's
most
really strong.
tournaments. He always tops at most tournaments. Yeah.
The PPG, he won also the PPG with the Dragon Link. He won the LCS with Dragon Link. The guy is just insane.
No.
So I really like the guy. Like Sebastian Todd is insane. Like
Yeah.
there is no question about that.
How
Massim break.
I have a question. Like, how did the whole trash talk between you and him start? Because I saw his dueling book profile, and he's like trash talking you on his description, and I'm like, what? Does these two people have but he like
Uh,
playfully trash talking each other, you know?
yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
basically, me and Sebastian, so we like to discuss each other. We were discussing each other about about our deck building choices. So at the end of the story, decided to use some sponsors to sponsor our game, and the sponsor took it very seriously. Ended up in 1K money matches.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I think there's people that have like big money that love this game, and it's good for competitive people, you know?
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Like one of them is for sure original. Original Shackle. Shackle was the one who sponsored the 2000 money match and is working to make a team sponsored by um, some good what's the name? Some good some good company. So he's basically a very good Pokemon player, and he has his team sponsored because it's an A sport, I guess.
Hmm.
I think it's an A sport. Yeah. So he was working for that for his team, and he's working for that to find good in real life player to sponsor in real life to buy the cards, to buy the flight, to buy the hotel, something like that. So he really invested at the start a lot of monies in the players he was choosing, and then we have original. Original is just the god of the sponsors. Like he takes boxes and he puts them for free entry in our tournaments because sometimes in the Colosseum we hosted also free tournaments with free entry. If you check tournaments, you will see boxes posted for free entry just for fun because he likes that. He likes to invest the money to make the community closer to each other.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, like, I, I think, I think if we're talking like in terms of just like fans of Yu-Gi-Oh, I think like Yu-Gi-Oh is like more people know Yu-Gi-Oh than like Magic and like a bunch of other games, like because like Yu-Gi-Oh has been like, I think the anime helped it out a lot. And also, like, everybody has played Yu-Gi-Oh at one point in their life, whether it's like a video game or like structured decks, starter decks, or something like that. So it holds like a special heart place in people's. And then people like you that take it the competitive aspect of it to greater heights. I think that's good for the game overall. You know.
Started in 2003, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Then I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In real life in 2008, around that date. And then I decided to move only on online because I was able to play with the best player online without moving from my home. And I played against, I think, the best players, some of the best players in the world. Like, for example, I played against Patrick Oban. I played, which was one of them because it was on the DRG. It was Duelings. There were another platform for cash game. It was called the Duelist Grounds. I don't know if you ever heard about that, but it was at the time. It was the first form to play cash games, and I started from there.
Wow.
So there were also Calvin Tahan at the time. He was still playing current.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, and then I started just to stick on the online play style. So I stick it on the online. I didn't go to any event in real life because of that. But I'm thinking to go to the next. If there ever will be a YCS in Milan, I'm going to there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Then after a bit, during the LCS period, I got hired as judge, and then I become head judge and their day manager to manage all the stuff about the LCS. And our Facebook page grew a lot. Now we have like 20,000 people.
Wow.
Our Facebook page.
Wow.
And we got YouTube. The YouTube is still, how can I say that? Is still, yes, still to grow because we have only 2,000 people. So it's not like the Facebook page, which is 20.
Yeah.
And we got several sponsors like Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily. Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily is also insane because he can give us all the cards we want. We can put free tournaments with the prosperity just for that, just because we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily. Like on the website, we have if you search on Google, we have the luxury website we are currently working on. It will be finished in exactly 1 month from now, and it will be the limitless TCG of Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if you have ever heard about the limitless TCG of Pokemon.
Okay. No, I haven't. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Basically, you will be able to have all cards. Do you know how does it work on Dueling Book? You can search all the cards you want. It will be the same thing there, but you can connect every card to the market. So once you click on the card, you will be redirectly to the market. So you can buy cards directly from the market to our page. And we will host tournaments on Dueling Book or on Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega, because recently I got also in touch with the developers of Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega, and some of the developers of Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega are working on our website right now, and it will be insane.
Wow.
We're spending a lot of money for that. A lot of money. Like if you consider that it will only for the preparation, all of these, which took 2 years, we spend around 10,000.
Wow. Wow, that's huge. Yeah, I saw that you made on the Colosseum Discord. You made like a post saying that like you were on the call with the developer or something like that, right? Was it about the same thing? Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it was about the same thing. We were discussing how much he was getting paid for working on the website. The website will be ready soon, so stay tuned. And we were discussing about the time. I was giving him all the permissions to access to the website and all the stuff. And I'm still in contact with him. So yeah.
Some exciting stuff coming like that. So you said that you switched to competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Like how long ago did you start playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh?
Competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Exactly competitive, I would say in 2011.
2011. Wow. So like 10 years.
2011 is when I started to understand more about the game, and I started to study more about the game because I was very interested. Because there were a lot of good people, there were a lot of good players, and I was watching them amazed. So I was like, why I cannot do that? I want to do that. I want to understand the interaction. I want to read in my opponent's mind.
In this past 10 years that you've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh competitively, like what has been like your favorite like era of Yu-Gi-Oh? Like the Eternal format? Has there been any other like formats that you've
There
liked?
is a format I really love,
Mhm.
and I think is one of the best format in Yu-Gi-Oh. If you wanna play that, it's 2013. 2013 with the BA Necrots format was the best one.
Why is that? Is it because like you love BAs and Necros and all those decks? You thought it was
It's not about because it's not about because I love BA because there were no really FTK decks. So you could still play out turn and you could outplay your opponent. When I think about Yu-Gi-Oh, about the Eternal format, since I played almost every format, I noticed that there were some periods or some formats in which the FTK was tier 0 of the format. Like, for example, if we talk about Wind Up FTK. Wind Up FTK was discarding 5 cards from your hand. On your turn, it was discarding another card because there for 6 cards.
Yeah.
If we think about Spellbook with Judgment, Spellbook of Judgment was plus 8. That's unfair in my opinion. I want to play with my opponent. I want the turn to last more than 3 turns.
Yeah.
I want the game to last more than 3 turns. So at that point, I consider the best format in this scenario and how I think the game should be played. Like for example, 5, 6, 7 turns. I would say 2013 was one of the best.
I don't know. I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh is like I play Magic. I play some Magic, and now Yu-Gi-Oh is like way harder. Not just because Magic is slower because of the whole mana thing, where like Yu-Gi-Oh has like unlimited mana. You can do unlimited things at any given turn.
Yeah.
But like the stuff that you have to memorize in Yu-Gi-Oh, like Magic has nothing on it. Like Yu-Gi-Oh, if you want to like master it, you need a whole bunch of time and like dedication to the game to be able to like master Yu-Gi-Oh.
And there are a lot of rulings, and then you have to consider the fact in NA and Europe the rulings are different. And I really hope the Master Duelist, the website that will come soon, will make just one section for all the rulings
Yeah,
from AU and NA and Europe.
yeah,
So everything together. We don't need to study both of the things.
exactly, exactly. Um,
So,
yeah.
what do you think about Master Duelist? Now I'm gonna ask you some questions.
I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. I believe that like this is where like I think esports, like an esport official thing, can happen with Yu-Gi-Oh, where like big companies will be interested, big companies will be able to get in, so like we may be able to see like big money coming in, and like I think it's gonna be good for all the good players that are out now. They'll be able to capitalize on that because like the people that will want to get into the competitive scene, they're still gonna have to catch up and like learn all the rulings and learn all the cards. But I think the people that are already good at the game are gonna have like a leg up from everybody else, you know.
There is also another thing which worries me a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the monetization behind the Master Duelist.
Yeah.
Now, I really love Yu-Gi-Oh! I really love everything related to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I love Konami to be able to make people able to play on their platform. But about the monetization, I think there is a little issue because most of the things are still unknown, but um, I don't want to buy 20 years of cards.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
I really don't want to. And I think if you want to get new players to come into that, into the project, into the Master Duelist, you cannot make people buy 20 years of cards. I think the best thing to do, and I also discussed it with several streamers, I think is make it a monthly payment because you are gonna get a lot of money still from the customs.
Yeah.
the customs, from the sleeves, from the avatars, you're still gonna get a lot of a lot of intros.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make it a monthly payment, like $15 per month to have access to the whole card pool,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the best thing to do. Obviously, I'm not the economy manager, so
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that, but you, if you, even though you make the current card pool accessible, then you give, and then you sell the later booster box. Okay, so you make the current card pool accessible, so everyone can play with the current cards.
Mm-hmm.
But and then you sell the other products, like you can sell the cards which will come out later. I still don't think it's gonna work, because if you want longevity
Yeah.
and you want like new players to come into the game, and they will have to buy 2 years of card or 3 years of cards to be able to play the current game. That's the only reason why I think it cannot work like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I do agree with you. Like, like you mentioned, like I think the best thing would be like subscription, like a monthly fee. Yeah, like $15 or something like that, and then like, if you want to spend on cosmetics, maybe like the fields, your sleeves and stuff like that, like the little pets on the side. That could make money like that, but like they should learn from like the big esports where like most free games like Fortnite, League of Legends, like some of the biggest games, they're free to play. Like you can have everything that you need to be competitive. If you wish to spend on cosmetics, then that's your choice, you know. But you if you want to be a free to play player that or that because a lot of people unfortunately don't have like money, you know, but they may be like good players, but they don't have the money to get into the game, and that stops those players, you know.
Let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was in a team like 6 months ago, 1 month ago. There were this guy. I'm not gonna say his name. He was forced to play in a library because he had no internet connection. He was playing on phone. So me and my team decided to buy him an internet connection for 2 years.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons I don't really like platform, which makes you pay too much to be able to play a game.
Yeah, exactly. That's very kind of you to like give him internet because yeah, that sucks to be able to be forced into playing at a library, you know. Uh, but that also shows the love that some people have for this game, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
because like if you go in a library to have internet connection to play on Yu-Gi-Oh, and I mean that shows you are you love this game.
yeah,
Okay, so I cannot ignore that fact. I really cannot. So as also my team decided to do that, and it built a very strong community. And when a community is that strong, there are no limits.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, I do believe that. Um, like the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh scene of Yu-Gi-Oh has like a lot of loyal people where they stick to it. They subscribe to a lot of channels. They constantly want to learn. But like right now I think what we need is like numbers, and I think this game is going to give like a lot of numbers in terms of like money, like big sponsors be able to like get in it, and also like a lot of new people are going to join the competitive scene, so that's good, you know.
Did you listen about Coder and Farfa talking about why Konami should invest in Twitch?
No, I didn't listen. What did they say?
Okay. Okay, they talked about the fact Konami is not investing in Twitch, but they should, because if you consider all the numbers they have, if you consider the fact when they run an event like Extravaganza, like the Wises, only Farfa, Distant Coder, have way more views than Konami one. And if they and they should invest in them because they could increase their numbers. And I think there's also another thing which could involve more people in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I do believe so because they don't have the numbers, and then once the scene starts popping up, they're gonna have to do a lot of catch up, and that's gonna suck. And they should also invest on like some knowledgeable staff. Like, I feel bad. I know I was talking about this with like the DB grinder, but like yeah, like some of the announcers like don't even know like like some of the basic interactions of like some cards, and it like sucks to like listening to them because you want to like enjoy the game, but sometimes you know more than the commentators, and that kind of sucks.
DB
Um,
Grinder was a revolution for
mhm.
the online community.
Yeah,
He exposed the players of the online platform as Dueling Book and made them famous or more famous than they were.
yeah,
And then and thanks to DB Grinder, we all are able to see the next level plays in some replays,
yeah.
or we are able to see how people play in cash games and where do they play in cash games. And yeah, so shout out to DB Grinder. Is a very very good person,
Yeah,
and I'm glad to work with him.
yeah. I agree.
Colosseum.
I agree. Yeah, that's why I got into like he's one of the people that I got into that made me want to get into YouTube because I'm like, man, like I love the fact that he was like studying like competitive matches, and that's how I find you out too because of like the money matches or like your competitive games on his channel. And I'm like, man, I need to talk to Nash, man. He's a good player. Um,
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and like I just wanted to like pick your brain because like there's so many things that I've been wanting to ask you. Like the current format, right? Like, what would you consider like are some of the top decks of the current format? I speak.
I mean, one of the top decks is for sure Tri Brigade.
Yeah,
Then I think we have Kids. Then there is a sleeper deck no one is considering, which is a Shadow Dogmatica Invoked, but run in a different version. Like it's not the known Shadow Dogmatica Invoked. It's different with the amount of Shadow decreased.
oh, decreasing the amount of shadow monsters.
Yes.
So do
I
you?
mean, because every Shadow is a brick. So the best one are 4, but you can cut them to 2. Like the best one are Beast, are Wendy, and then we have Shadow Dragon, and then we have Ariel. But if you want to pick just the 2, are Shadow Dragon and Ariel, and you can run Dogmatica Shadow Invoked with just 2 Shadow monsters, because like I said, they are bricks, and you can run 3 Shadow Fusion. Then you can play the full stuff of Dogmatica and the full stuff of Invoked.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Normal Summon Eyelester is the way, baby.
Hey, that card has some of the most I believe that deck has some of the most insane cards ever. Like Nadir, freaking Shadow Fusion. Those cards are like FTKs, Like those cards, like Shadow
Yeah.
Fusion resolves. Good luck.
Then we have, even though someone could not agree about that, we have still Dragon Link. Dragon Link is not that.
Oh,
Dragon Link is Dragon Link topped the last YCS,
yeah.
and he got second place against the pack. There are some versions of Dragon Link. I have currently 5 versions of Dragon Link,
Wow.
and they are all crazy. They're all crazy. I think the deck is not dead at all. They banned LP. They banned LP and they altered the consistency of the deck or the follow-up of the deck. So, but at the end of the day, the deck is still very good. So I would still consider it in my top 4.
Wow. So, oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, because I remember like almost like most YouTubers that do rankings, they're like, "Oh man, I'm gonna put Dragon Link at the bottom of the list," and everybody was saying Dragon Link is dead at the beginning of this format. And then like people really underestimate the amount of support Dragon Link has, and the amount of like dedicated players that deck has.
Yeah, but the thing is, they
Mhm.
could option from the extra deck. Okay, that's fine. But Dragolink had always issues about their end board. Like the thing Dragolink is not missing are extenders. You can do all the things you want with your extenders. And there are multiple ways to play Dragolink. You can play full rocket. You can play with the Dragoon engine. You can play with still the chamber because there are still ways to access the chamber,
Yeah.
or you can play the just a full combo without any other chamber or Dragoon stuff. But you can play, for example, the Prize card,
Uh-huh.
which is Chaos Emperor Dragon to recover your options.
Mm.
Like there are multiple ways to play the Dragon Link deck, and
Yeah.
I think the deck is not dead at all. I think the best version is still to be found, and when we will see the best version pop off, it will be insane.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think that like that man that deck was insane last format. Like I hated going against that deck because like it could play through multiple interruptions, and like right now I'm seeing like Dragon Link slowly come back up, back up, back up, and like it's already like topping, like, and I believe it won an extravaganza. I don't know if it was on Germany or France like this past weekend. Um, I can't remember where it was, but like I'm telling you, like yeah, like the DB Wonder was talking about, like it's gonna be topping left and right towards the end of this format because like they're gonna be
I
able
think
to.
it was German. I think it was the German one because I remember watching it, and there were a lot of top deck. There were three virtual world in top.
Oh, okay.
I was discussing with my friends about why Virtual World was in top because it's just a good meta call against some decks.
Mm-hmm.
And if you consider more prankits into an event, I would go with probably with the Virtual World. Yeah, I mean the deck breaks 1 out of 6 games.
Yeah.
That's factual,
Yeah.
but I still think it's a good meta call deck. It's not the best deck, but when you have to consider meta call into an event and you consider the amount of decks run into an event, I think if there are a lot of prankits, I would still run it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that's actually one of the things that I also wanted to talk to you about because I saw like your deck profile on the DB Grinder, and I know you've been playing. I know you play multiple decks, but you also play Virtual World among one of those decks, and like that's like my like deck right now that I'm like kind of like the one I play the most with. That's how I got like top 200 on Dueling Book, um, and then like so I wanted to like talk to you like, so you think Virtual World is a good matchup versus Prank Kids, right? But like, uh, do you think is like among the top decks, or do you think it's more of a counter to the top decks, but it's not actually a top deck itself? If that makes sense,
I think it's more a counter than actually a top deck. I don't think the deck can be a top deck right now. And we don't have enough. We just don't have enough.
Yeah.
If we could get like for example 3 teleport, then I could consider it more stable. So we will have more ways to play.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then it's just a counter because against the control decks, once you resolve the virtual world combo and you play it correctly, there's no way you can lose.
Yeah.
There is just no way. You will have too much follow up, and you can start playing aggressive. And Shen Shen and Kaliga are the strongest floodgate monsters in the game.
Yeah.
If you go second, the deck has a lot of can struggle a little bit against some good end boards.
Yeah.
So it's mostly dice roll against combo decks, but against the control decks you have a huge advantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also good against the mid-range decks. Like it can be good against Salamangreat. It's very good against Sky Striker because the deck goes second, and if you put Ascension on the board, they have to was their entire hand to out it. And in the best case they can out it and win. But in most of the cases, you will be able still to win because your recovery will be insane.
Yeah. 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 I love playing Virtual World versus Sky Striker because they they usually end up like rage quitting or somewhere, like because they realize that they have to like banish a lot of their resources in order to get rid of Shenshin, and then I just bring it back up the next turn because they can have a hard time OTKing anyways. So, man, I was like, were you surprised at all that Sky Striker is not doing anything, or did you get into
I
the whole
was not.
hype? Huh?
I was not surprised at all. I was not surprised at all. I think the deck is bad. I think one engage changed nothing, and I said that multiple times. I also think the fact that Mirage Stelio got back into Salamangreat means nothing. The deck is still dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Like people were overhyping Salad and Sky Striker, and like I think Sky Striker needs a lot. Like, do you think if Engage came back to 3, they will have like more of a chance to win? What do you
Oh, I mean, engage back to 3 is a different story. Engage back to 3 can be used in different decks. I don't even think Sky Striker would be the meta deck if engage would back to 3. Would be one of the top deck for sure, but engage would be used in different decks. I think that's the best support engine ever created, which can be used in every deck. And I think splashing 3 engage, 1 Hornet Drones, and 1 Anchor in a deck like 3 Brigade would be still insane. Oh.
Yeah. Is there so I'm assuming that's gonna be it. I was gonna ask you, like, what do you think is an overrated deck? Would you consider Sky Striker an overrated deck? Any other decks that you consider overrated?
Definitely. I think Sky Striker is one of the most overrated deck after the ban list got released. And I don't know if people actually believe Sky Striker is a good pick, or they just run it because they got that past feeling, summoning Rise. If they just love the deck. If you love the deck, that's fine. If you think that the deck is good and can win an event, I'm sorry to be disappointed there. Like the lack of starters is too much. And even though you go second, Mystic Mine now in this meta does nothing because everyone is main decking order.
Yeah. And then like the side deck has gotten like more back row hate. Like almost everybody has triple Twin Twisters and like Imperial Order either on the main or on the side.
Yes, they have to, because Prankins is in the meta. If you consider Prankins and Sky Striker, you have to play Storm or Twin Twister or Imperial Order or Anti-Spell Fragrance. Like, you are gonna get some of them.
Yeah.
There is no way you don't get sided those cards in an event. Like, almost every deck will have at least 2 of those cards.
Yeah.
That's why Sky Striker is not doing anything right now.
I love resolving Imperial Order against that deck, and if they don't have the Twin Twisters, it's actually an FTK because they can't play through an order. It's kind of crazy. Like,
it doesn't matter also the games. Like, if they are winning with 6 cards in hand and you flip Imperial Order, it's over anyways. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
No matter when you draw Imperial Order, at that point in which you will draw Imperial Order, it will be over anyways.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Salad, like Mirage Stallion, of course, did nothing to like raise the like goodness of that deck. Like, do you think that at this point in time we could bring back Circle and Gazelle to 3, or like either of those to 3?
No. I mean, the cards are still crazy. One card in the extra deck does not change the consistency main deck. So the thing is, even though you have Mirage Stallion, the deck will have to run for level 3 to make to be able to do that, or you can just not run the extender level 3 to be able to do that and just run with the same staples as before. But the deck is still the same. The main deck is still the same. At the point in which you start to unban or unlimit the cards in the main deck, like Gazelle and like Circle, then the deck would actually become crazy.
Oh, okay.
If you affect the extra deck like you did with like they did with Dragon Link, there's always a way to go around that. But if you affect the main deck, then it's another story.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I mean, Mirage Stallion is a good card, but like, it sucks that he locks you into fire, so like you can't really access code. It's more of a going first card. It's not really a going second if you want to OTK. So, I don't know. I like the deck, but it's too fragile right now. Too fragile. Like almost one hand trap just stops it. It doesn't have enough extenders, in my opinion.
I spoke a lot with Gabriel Sussi,
Mm-hmm.
and he also considered he also considered that deck, and he also said, which I mean, Gabriel Sussi, I have a very strong consideration of his opinion about Salman Great. He is the one who won the most with the deck, and he also said the deck is not good right now. The deck is just not enough. So the method shifted into other decks, and there are new cards released. And when there are new cards released, Konami will force you to buy those kind of cards.
Yeah.
I say force you because they will make them just a bit stronger or stronger enough to beat the other decks.
Mm-hmm.
So you will be forced to buy that card.
Yeah. I agree with you. It's like their whole strategy to earning money, right?
Yes.
Like the money cards. Like I always love to talk about this with people, but Triple Tactic Talents, that card is insane, and it shows because it's $100 card. So 300 if you want to place it. But do you think that card is insane, Triple Tactics?
I mean, the card has literally 3 banned card effect.
Yeah.
Or limited, like mind control. Okay. So you have mind control, which is limited to 1, but you can still attack. You can still tribute it. Like it's stupid. You can rip 1 card of your opponent's hand, which is confiscation.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Confiscation now in 2021.
Yes.
The card is a bless.
Yeah, that card
is a bless.
Yes. I don't know. Do you see that card eventually just getting hit?
It has to be banned. It has to be banned, in my opinion. Like, the card is actually too stupid.
Yeah.
The same is for Dragoon. Every bad deck can run Dragoon and still win.
Yeah.
And it also that it's a lazy card. People are just lazy to find the best combination or the best like the best deck building. Like they are just lazy and you know what? He must splash Dragoon in this. That's what happened every time.
Yes.
Just don't focus on the strategy. They just don't focus on the on a good side pattern, and they are just like, okay, let me splash Dragoon in this. It's gonna work. Trust. Man. And eventually, it does work sometimes.
Yeah. I know that the list, the Dragon Link list that won was running Dragoon, right? It was running the Dragoon package, which is crazy because like they have extenders.
About the deck, there are 2 instances about Dragoon splashed into a good deck which does not need it.
Yeah.
One is Drytron.
Oh yeah.
One is Drytron because if you heard about the Drytron Goon deck. And the second one is Dragon Link. I tested that version. I have also that version built. It's not bad. That is better. It's just better. If you just focus, he was playing the Chamber. I don't see the reason to run the Chamber with Dragoon. And the card actually, the package, the Dragoon package, conflicts also with Chaotic Ruler. So, in some ways, if you play it, I mean, there are different styles to play the Dragon Link. You can do Chaotic Ruler. On the second turn, you can just surrender or make in Dragoon. Or you can be lucky and not mill the package. So, I mean, the only card you actually don't want to mill is the spell or the double yellow, but because you can still add 1 to your hand and still going for that. The deck, the Dragoon package makes the deck a bit more resilient to entraps. So you can get cards like Nibiru, you can get Troll, and still end on Masquerena and Vert and Dragoon, which is not bad at all. But at that point, I think you are just lazy to find the best ratios for your deck, because you are just splashing Dragoon inside the deck list, I think there are two possible choices when you face the Dragoon version, when you want to build a Dragoon version. Or you build your entire deck around the Dragoon,
Mm-hmm.
or just don't run it.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
think you have to stick with your decision. Do you want to play Dragoon? I'm fine with that. But then you have to build your entire deck around Dragoon.
Yeah.
Don't push Dragoon in a deck which is just an extender.
Yeah.
Does not make sense at all. Dragoon is not just an extend play when you get interrupted. Dragoon should be you should play your entire deck around the Dragoon.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it will be just a huge brick your deck.
Yeah.
The same reason applies to Drytron. Does Drytron need Dragoon? No, it does not need Dragoon.
Mm-hmm.
If you play correctly, you can hit the Droll and Lockbird and still end on 2 interruptions.
Yeah.
You don't need to go into Dragoon. That's my
Yeah.
thought process about that.
I agree with you. I hate it when that whole thing started coming out because now you droll them, which droll at the beginning of the format was kind of like a FTK against that deck because they would just be like, oh, I'll pass on like a weird position. But now they've learned to play around the droll, and sure they end up on Dragoon or sometimes another interruption. And oh man, I don't know. Like if you're Konami, do you ban Verte Anaconda, Red Eyes Fusion, or Dragoon? What do you think?
I think I got this discussion with Gabriel Sussi,
Mm-hmm.
and the outcome was banning Verte.
Oh, okay. Okay. Why is that?
Because making a link to be able to summon a Omni negation is just too strong. Like Verte is just stupid as cards because you can send Shadow Fusion, you can send Red Eyes Fusion, and those kind of cards are just broken.
Yeah.
And it's an Omni searcher for broken cards. Having a link to like that, it's pain for the current format.
I do agree with you. And it shows like that card. Last time I checked was like $50. It keeps going up in price. Like it started off like 20, I believe, or 20 or 25 or something.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
everyone is a splashing Dragoon.
Mm-hmm.
They just want a broken link to.
Yes.
So if you think about broken link to, then you have just Dragoon, like you have just Verte.
Yeah.
So like the best link to in the format is Verte. Like there is no discussion on that. Like the card is just crazy good, and you can use it in multiple ways. You can access to every fusion card. Having the access to every fusion card is just. It was also an issue during the Orcust format. If you remember, you could summon Winda with Dragoon with Dingirsu on the board and
Yeah.
just detach in end phase to not get it popped by sending instant fusion. So you send instant fusion, you had already Dingirsu on the board, you summon the Winda, and in end phase instead to destroy the Winda, you just detach one material from Dingirsu, and that was FTK.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like they can't even run over. It depends. Because Dingirsu wouldn't have any materials at the end, right? Because it would detach one to avoid Winda to get destroyed, right?
So it will have just another material for your opponent to. If you
Okay.
run out of that material on Dingirsu in the end phase, you have to protect again the Winda because every end phase the instant fusion reapplies. But at that point, it does not matter because your opponent wasted one turn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and usually you can just with Orcas it was super easy to make Boral Sword. Boral Sword Dingirsu would be game, you know.
yeah.
I've been testing out like the Mech Knight Orcas build right now. I that was like one of my during the Eternal format I was playing like Orcas. I love that deck so much, but Do you think that deck has potential to come back? Just Orcus in general. I know for sure Harport is not gonna come back because Gearsu. As long as Gearsu exists, I don't think Harport can come back. Um,
Mm.
but
I don't think the deck is consistent enough to be able to compete in this format
yeah,
because every Orcust is a brick. So
yeah,
considering that, and considering that in the meta we have Tri Brigade, which every monster is basically Apollosa, you can see the huge gap.
yeah. I do agree. Man, Tri Brigade is just insane. But like, I I've I've asked. I would say probably like 8 or 9 like YouTubers and like some streamers like what they think the best deck right now is, and like it's usually like split up between either Tri Brigade or like Prank Kits. Like, do you
Okay.
think one of those two decks is the best deck at this current
I
time?
think the difference. I think the difference is the side pattern. The side pattern makes a huge difference in between those decks. I think the deck has both the decks have the same potential. I think without a side, they are 50-50. Whoever go first wins. And the side pattern makes a huge difference. Like if you are playing Contact C, you are going like from you're going from a 50-50 to a 75 percentage to win rate against that deck, of win rate against that deck. So it makes a huge difference in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, those two decks are just insane. Like if I think Konami is probably gonna look at those two decks specific. Though I think Drytron, Tri Brigade, and Prankits are potentially gonna get hit in the next ban list. I don't know.
I have to say,
Mhm.
I have to say there is no reason to touch those decks.
Yeah.
I think it's
Uh,
very easy to counter them. There is a
oh.
very easy way, um, and I hope. I mean, I can tell you the way to counter them properly. It's very easy.
Okay.
Like all you have to do. The thing is, um, even though you're going second against those decks, those cards are still gonna work in a way that can manage you to put in a simple game state and be able to win. And the cards I'm thinking about are Rivalry and Gods and Match, both in one deck. So if you go second, they have Apollosa, and you can lock them into Wind.
Mm-hmm.
If you go first, they cannot play. You can lock them into Fairy. If you play both the Floodgates in one deck, it's a win condition. You have 6 win condition in the deck.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, they do hard lose. I don't know why people are not running that like more right now. It makes
Someone is running. I saw someone in the Dragon Link playing Gods and Match because they realized how strong Gods and Match is against Tri Brigade and how strong Gods and Match is against Prankids, even going second.
yeah, yeah, it's insane. Yeah, cause like, yeah, I think
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. I
Hello?
think yeah, you cut off for a second, but I can hear you now. Yeah, it's because I believe that a lot of the success for Prank Kits and Tri Brigade is because a lot of people don't understand those decks and they just kind of panic when they see them pop off, and um, they don't like
Yeah.
you understand their choke points and like what's a good counter versus them. That's why you don't see them as problems, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like I said, they do not commit so much. Like they are not gonna build Omni negation on the board. Like Tree Brigade is not gonna summon Omni negation, so
Yeah.
you can use Floodgate against them going second. They are just gonna have an Apolloso, which does nothing. And if you can Floodgate them going second, will take some damage. It's okay. How much you will take? 3,000, 5,000, nothing. And if you will be able to play with your engine the next turn, you are still gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean.
Like
Mhm.
for example, I lost a cash game when I opened it insane with the Tri Brigade
Uh-huh.
against Salamangreat because he was running Rivalry.
Oh. Okay.
So he Rivalry on my Apollosa,
Uh-huh.
and I chained the Revolt, I send my Apollousa in the graveyard because you are forced to chain the Revolt there
Yeah.
because you cannot lock yourself under Fairy. If you lock yourself under Fairy, at a point the Apollousa is gonna run out and it will have 0 attack and you can stall forever.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. That you're forced to chain the revolt to because you can't afford just leaving that Palooza up, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the big choke points. So Gozen and Rivalry are the MVP to beat Prankids and to beat Tri Brigade. If someone can run both of those in one deck, it would be insane.
Wow. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Maybe zombies have a chance to come back. I remember playing
In a
zombies.
deck which can run a bot without any issue and changing their playstyle could be Drytron. But a trap Drytron is hard to build. Very hard to build a trap Drytron.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think that was possible. Trap Drytron. Like I haven't heard of Trap Drytron. Like, have you seen
Yeah, I
builds
mean,
rolling?
no, I did not. I
Oh.
did not see any builds like that. I think it's possible. It's doable to do that. It's just very hard. I don't know if it's gonna work. If it's not gonna work, just run a different deck which you can splash into the floodgates, and you should be fine against the meta decks. I don't think any meta decks would beat Rivalry and Gods match right now.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's insane. That's insane. Yeah.
Deck which can run it is Dragon Link. Dragon Link can for sure side both of them.
That is true, right? Going first or going second, right?
Yeah. I would side them. I don't think I would play them in the main deck, but I would for sure side them both. Because like I said, they are just insane. And also because Dragon Link is a sort of combo decks, they are not gonna run back row removals against you.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, yeah.
No one is gonna expect.
Dragon Link is so insane. Like, we're gonna see dragons for the rest of the Yu-Gi-Oh, I believe, because they just have so much support. It's insane.
If they want to touch Dragon Link, they had to ban the Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon was cutting you off from boot sector, so it was affecting cards in the main deck.
Oh yeah.
When you affect cards in the main deck, then the entire gameplay changes.
Yeah.
To be banned.
Yeah. I mean, what I thought they were gonna do before the ban list, I was like, they're probably gonna ban Striker Dragon, because I was like, I don't know if they're gonna touch LP, because everybody has been saying that LP was gonna get banned forever, and they don't do it. So I'm like, maybe Konami doesn't want to touch LP for some reason or another, even though that card is crazy. But like, they ended up like touching both of them, and then that's why a lot of people were like, oh, they're dead or whatever. Like, do you see maybe Striker Dragon potentially getting hit in the future?
I don't think so. They limited this to one. We will not see any other Dragon extra deck card be touched for a bit. I think maybe what they can do is touching some cards in the main deck, like for example, Cow Space. It's just to proc it.
Yeah.
That's it. I do not think anything else. I think if you want to touch one card right now, it's Cow Space.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's worth it. I think it would be a wasted it right now. They should have done it before, not now. Makes no sense now.
Yeah. I agree. I believe. Do you think Drytron will be getting hit in the future? Like, that deck is just unfun to play against going second. Like, it's too much, honestly. Like, you have to be running like Kaijus.
They have a lot of gas. The deck is crazy good. But did you see Drytron win any events?
No. I don't think so.
I mean, that's the answer. If he doesn't win, it doesn't get touched.
That makes sense.
Okay, so guys, if you want to get Drytron it, let it win some events.
The people out here don't let Drytron win. I think it's because it needs like, for the most part, it needs at least 2 cards to combo off, right? Like Prankids and Tri Brigade, they only need like 1 card for the most part.
I mean, what ruined another thing that ruined this game are one card combo with a link one. Decks which have a link one are crazy.
Yeah.
Like the example of we have the example of Striker Dragon, a link one, LP, Pisti, all of those are link ones, and being able to extend with just one monster because it's because you have a link one in the extra deck, it's just crazy. It's crazy good.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
There is just one exception to this theory. There is one deck which is made by link ones, but they are all dog. Like I don't remember the name of the archetype. Which
I think they're machines. I believe.
yes, they are machines. They are machines. I do not remember the name because
appliancers.
Appliances.
Yeah.
Appliances are all ones, but they are all bad link ones.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of link ones, what about adding Nister? Do you like? I believe there was a lot of people hyping them up, but like I haven't seen them recently. What do you think about adding Nister?
I think we got. I mean, we in my team, which is a WAF, we got a very good Ignister player. It's Tablinario. He got a top 8 the YCS in Brazil. It was top 8 in YCS. I do not. It's from. Let me think about that. It's North Europe or East Europe. I mean, not Europe, America. Sorry. It was okay. So it got top 8 in America with Ignister. If you are able to run the deck correctly, you can win a lot of games with it because a rival with 6,000 attack is just very difficult to out.
Yeah.
Then you have the negation in the graveyard. But if you interact with them properly, also if you interact with them properly, you are able to win most of the games against that deck because it can fall to one entrap.
Yeah.
Draw and lock. So
yeah,
it's hard to talk about Ignister because not every deck has the oust to a rival. So if we talk about, for example, Prankids, I think there is an out to a rival in Prankids. If it's 3K or 4K, there is the access code. It's very difficult to go into it because the Ignister deck has 18 flex spot, so there is no way you are not gonna get interrupted.
Yeah. I think the reason why, like, I think it's good, but the reason why it's not that popular is because it usually does the same play every time, like going first or going second. For the most part, it's like a very like you're gonna be doing the same thing going first and going second for the most part, you know. So
yes, it's a very linear deck. At that point, just run Prankids in my opinion.
yeah. So I think a lot of people just they try it out. They're like, it's good, but it's kind of boring after a while, you know. Like just
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, and they can't even run the Dragoon package because I believe they have a couple of cards that locks them into Cyber's monsters.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
They are locked into Cybers for most of their combos.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen towards the end of this format. Maybe some new cards are gonna pop up, but so.
I mean, when people will realize rivalry and gods and match are very strong against the meta deck, I think we will have I want to say a huge Swift, but I think we will have a Swift in the meta. Like we are gonna shift a bit in the meta.
I agree. Speaking of like good cards to like side in and stuff like that, so like in your opinion, like what would you say are some of the like best hand traps right now, like the best 2 or the best 3 hand traps? Like would you put like Imperm, Droll up there, hand traps?
I think the best hand traps right now, if we talk about a package of 9 hand traps, it's Ash, Gamma, Impermanence.
Ash Gamma Impermanence. Okay. Oh, I didn't expect Gamma. Okay, Gamma. You think I know you value. I see Gamma in most of your deck list, right? You value Gamma a lot, don't you?
Yes, I hate Driver, but you have to run Gamma because it's a turn stopper entrap. It's an entrap which works on his own, and it can eventually stop your opponent deck for one turn.
Oh.
And considering that, there is no way I cannot run. There is no way I'm cutting Gamma from my main deck because the card is just too good. If Gamma conflicts with most of the cards in my main deck, then I'm forced to side it. But I will not cut Gamma. I think the card is just too good. It was insane in the Thunder Danger format. It is insane right now. And if you look at the OCG ban list, they limited the Gamma to 2. So they also acknowledged the fact that Gamma is actually the best entrap right now in the game because it can hit every deck. It can hit Prankits, it can hit Drytron, it can hit Tree Brigade, it can hit Dragon Link. I mean, tell me a deck which does not get hit by Gamma. It can also hit Sky Striker, because if you know your opponent is playing Striker, you can just pass. Because otherwise, if you have the fear of a Mystic Mine, for example, if you have the knowledge of your opponent playing Sky Striker, what does he do? He summon Rai, attack, and then use Rai effect in battle phase, then you chain Gamma, and he's out almost. Works against every deck.
That's right, and it feels so good whenever you Pot of Desires or Pot of Prosperity, and they ask you, and then you're like chain Gamma. That's like the best feeling in the world, right?
It's also another thing.
Yeah. I was gonna ask him like, man, I see Gamma like a lot, like almost like every deck, and I didn't realize that. I'm pretty sure you run it in every deck now that I think about it, like either on the side or on the main deck, right?
I think the card is just insane. It's one of the best entraps. One of the best. And the only reason you add and impermanence is also very good because, I mean, it's not good against the Prankits. I agree on that. Yeah, it's not good against the Prankits. But if you consider the other meta decks, you can impermanence in your turn against the Apollousa if you're playing against the Tree Brigade. You can impermanence against the Drytron when they summon the Xyz. You can impermanence against Dragon Link without having the fear of a triple tactical talent. So yeah.
Yeah, the fact that he dodges triple tactics is insane. Like the worst feeling in the world is getting hit by triple tactics. Like that's why sometimes I fear even hand trapping my opponent, because I'm like, man, if I get triple tactics, I lose this game, because I only have like one starter in my hand. But like permanence like kind of dodges the whole thing.
In the last cash game, DB Grinder posted, I played the Ancient Warrior Tree Brigade. I was in the second match against Drytron. And fortunately for me, luckily for me, I opened 4 entraps. I opened Gamma, Baylor, Ash, and Cycle Raider. When he used the triple tactical on me watching my hand, the 5th card was Prosperity. He was forced to pick Prosperity because that hand was too strong.
Yeah, it's insane, and yeah, like in Ash, I think will always be meta, right? As long as this game lives, I think. Like
when a meta is mixed in combo decks, mid range, and control decks, Ash will be always the best entraps because it can hit in a way every deck, and I can understand why it's considered weak against the combo decks. But you have also to consider the mid-range deck in the discussion if we talk about Ash. And Ash is one of the few entraps like Gamma which can hit every deck.
Yeah, and that's why I think you don't like. I see some people putting Bell up there as being right now, but it doesn't hit all decks, especially now. Tri Brigade, now that they end up on that Palooza Revolt, is that why you don't run Bell on the main, because it does nothing against Revolt right now?
Okay, now we have to we have to discuss about the bell. Okay, about the bell,
Mm-hmm.
there are two theories about the bell. I think you can run bell as your fourth entraps after you run all the staple ones. So you have to run, I think the four staple entraps right now are Gamma, Ash, Impermanence, and Veiler. And after you managed to run all of them, you can run Bell or Nibiru. Now,
Oh,
why I don't like Bell in the in the spots of the Veiler or of the Impermanence
okay.
or of the Ash. Like Ash and Bell do mostly the same thing, not really the same thing, but they are kind of similar for some interactions. They stop Nadir, stop Sanguine, they stop the Drytron monsters. But the difference is when you can use Bell and when you can use Ash. You can use Ash at the start of your opponent Drytron combo. So you can use Ash on Alpha Zeta. He opens Alpha Zeta in end. You cannot use Bell on Alpha Zeta in end. You are forced to wait your opponent to use the Zeta in the graveyard, and then you can Bell. At that point, his Alpha is already resolved, and he has Benton in hand.
Mm-hmm.
That means if he has another Drytron monster, it's over.
It's over. Yeah. Yeah.
Against 3 Brigade, will never be able to Bell, if not after he summoned Apollosa.
Mm-hmm.
But after he summoned Apollosa. You can agree with me.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Bell is good with only another entraps in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I rather prefer having entraps, which stands alone against the whole meta format. At least interact with my opponent deck in a way that can make its end board weaker. Not to try to draw the bot entraps I need to be able to use Bell in hand.
Yeah. Yeah. And all right, then yeah, I agree with you on that Bell, because Bell is just situational, and it was good for a while against Tri Brigade until they're like, oh, might as well end on a Palooza, so now we don't have to worry about getting belled, you know.
Bell
But
is also very good against the Prankits. If you wanna side Bell, I mean, I agree on that. You can side Bell against the Prankits, but there is just a better card to side, Contatsy. Contatsy is good against the 3 Brigade, and Contatsy is good against Prankits.
yeah,
Because once they lock themselves into Beast Warrior, Winged Beast, and Beast, you can just wait them to summon from Ferrigit, and then you summon the Contatsy in the link arrow of Ferrigit, and
yeah,
they are not able to play. They will have just 4 blanks monster on the board
yeah,
doing nothing, chilling.
yeah, yeah. I love that you mentioned Contact C, because I've had this conversation with some people before where they're like, why is Contact C good? I'm just giving my opponent a monster. I'm like, oh, okay, you don't understand. Like, I think only like the higher level people understand why Contact C is so good. You know, like like a lot of people are like, it doesn't seem good on paper because you're giving the opponent one monster, but like if you realize like when, like if you're good at knowing when you can use it, that card can be insane, right?
I mean, it's crazy against it's crazy against the 3 Brigade. They have to not play a standard line to be able to play around the contacts. So that they on the first effect of their 3 Brigade, they have to summon the Ancient Warrior
Yeah,
if they want to play around the contacts. But at that point, they need an extender to play further.
yeah,
Now, if we talk about, so generally, I would say Contact is just insane because it avoids you to get Zeus because they are locked. Because all you have to do is just waiting them to be locked before dropping the Contact. And if you are playing a 3 Brigade Mirror, the next turn you can summon the Ancient Warrior and spin back in your hand the Contact. So you are going to lock him every turn
that's crazy.
instantly.
That's
Now,
crazy.
if we talk about Prankits, Contatsy stops them for 3 turns.
For 3 turns. Wow.
Yes. First turn, normal summon, Contatsy.
Yeah.
If he does not link the Contatsy, into Aus or into something like every link they will summon with the contact seat will be dead
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
Next turn, they can try to play, but they have still the link 2 on the board. It's not that simple. Play around the contact seat
Yeah.
with the prank. Even though if you link it, it's not simple.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree that. Yeah.
In a perfect scenario, it's 3 turns. When they open multiple cards, it can be 2 turns, but there is no out to contact sim. Like they have to run a Book of Moon or Droplet if they are going second,
Yeah.
be able to out contact sim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or War Chalice, like oh no, the War Chalice, the Forbidden Chalice, to be able to negate the effect of the contact sim.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They are not common cards right now, so I think it's gonna work.
Yeah. Card is insane. Card is insane, and like it's being slept on by some people, but like I think the higher rated people already realize how crazy that card is. Another card that I was looking. I think it was like yesterday or the day before. I was looking at a lot of like the people that topped extravagances and like the YCSs and everything, and then like, I'm slowly seeing share ride being like creeped more on a lot of those decks, either on the side, and some of them were even running it on the main. Like I don't know what your opinion is on share ride. Um,
Okay, so about Shared Ride, I have spoke with Herman Hanson about that. It's a medical card. Depends what do you expect the ladder will be in a tournament. So if you expect, for example, like the card is good against every deck if you run a lot of entraps in your main deck. So if you run an average, if you run an average of 12 entraps in your main deck, I would say, yeah, Shared Ride is good because your opponent cannot afford to let you draw cards because they will be eventually stopped and they will not be able to OTK you, and you are gonna win the next turn no matter what.
yeah.
I would say it's mostly a meta call because, like I said, it's a bit weird this card. I like it. I'm not opposed to run that card. I don't know if I have actually the space in my side deck because eventually I would like valorize over other strategies, like maybe a Floodgate instead of Shattered Ride, because in the moment you run Shattered Ride in the side deck, then you cannot run the Floodgate
Oh yeah.
because you want your opponent to play.
Oh yeah.
So
They conflict. They conflict. All right.
yeah, you don't want to stop your opponent at that point. You want your opponent being able to play and then getting value out of Shattered Ride.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna run share
So
ride. Mhm.
sorry, continue.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I think if you're gonna run share ride, I think the best card to run along share ride is Nibiru, right? What do you?
Yes, I agree on that. I think Nibiru is very good with Shared Ride because at that point, like we said, Bell and Nibiru are entraps which no stands alone right now because every good player can play around Nibiru and they just don't fall to Bell. But if you throw Nibiru with another entrap, then it's very, very strong and it can out every board, no matter how good you are. If you draw Nibiru with Veiler or Nibiru with Ash, it's just another story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally agree. I think Shared Ride with Nibiru is actually a very strong combination. But if you run that, then you have to change your strategy. I think my strategy is a bit different because I rely mostly on floodgates like anti-spell fragrance or rivalry or good match, something like that because I'm a bit scared of Shadow Dogmatic Invoked and I don't want them being able to resolve on me the Shadow Fusion, which is a very strong win condition.
Yes.
But I'm not opposed to Shared Ride. I think it's just a different kind of gameplay, and I think the card is very strong right now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, I guess the last card that I wanted to ask you is Droll. Pack. I don't know if he wasn't running Droll either on the side or on the main. He wasn't even running like Cycle Reader either. Like, but I know Cycle Reader is like more debated on, but I remember Droll. Everybody was mandatory to be running Droll on the side deck as at the beginning of this format. Like, do you think Droll is slowly like falling off some decks?
I think you should let Droll fall from your side deck. I think you have to respect the Drytron, no matter what, because like you said before, the deck is unfair, and you have at least being able to run. You need a very strong end traps against them.
Yeah.
If they go enough extenders over your impermanence Ash, and it's over.
Yeah.
And at that point, because they don't always, like Impermanence, Veiler, Ash, they don't always stop Drytron. At that point, you need a very strong entrap, which is not bad against other kinds of deck.
Yeah.
For example, like you said before, Ignister. Ignister is one of the deck which falls to Droll and Lockbird.
Yeah.
Dragon Link also falls to Droll and Lockbird. Against the Virtual World, Droll and Lockbird can be good in 50% of the spots, I would say.
Yeah.
Because even maybe a bit more than 50%, but yeah, it can work. So I think even though it's not very good against the Tri Brigade, even though it's not that crazy against the Prank Kids, I think you are forced still to run that.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like a necessary card until Drytron gets hit. I think we're gonna be forced to, because otherwise you ought to.
Like you said, it still depends. If you are running Shared Ride, you cannot run Droll and Lockbird.
Oh.
So it cuts you off options. So if you run Shared Ride, then you have to adapt your entire strategy around the Shared Ride. Like I said before with the Dragoon, you have to adapt your deck around the strategy you choose. You have to stick on your game plan.
Yeah.
So if you run Shared Ride, obviously you cannot run a Droll, because otherwise Droll will stop you from drawing. So it makes no sense.
That is a good point right there. That is a good point. I forgot about that. So yeah, you that's like Share Ride and Dragoon are some cards that you have to like build your deck around, like you mentioned there. Yeah. All right. And I mean, that is gonna be like all the cards that I have. I don't know if you want to have any closing statements or anything else you want to say, or because we basically knocked everything that I wanted to get out of the way. I don't know.
Okay, so if we want to talk about something else, I was testing a different version of Tri Brigade.
Okay.
Actually, I tested different versions. Okay. The most popular right now is the Zodiac 1. Then there is the Cat version with the Rescue Cat.
Yeah.
And then there is my version, which I saw someone running. I saw someone using it weirdly. I don't want to say they misplayed, but it should be used differently. We are talking about the Ancient Warrior version. Why I don't like the Zodiac version in Tri Brigade. Now, the thing is, Barrage is just an extender for a Beast Warrior. You don't need that. You actually don't need Barrage. But your deck wants to focus on making Zeus going second. But I think the strategy of the deck is being able to play the first turn with all the cards you have in the main deck, and then having a good game plan going second. Like, you don't need to focus your entire strategy on Zeus. I'm not opposed to that version. I don't think it's very bad. I don't think it's optimal, though, as well. But I think the Cat version with Rescue Cat is better than the Zodiac version. Now, why, in my opinion, Rescue Cat is better than the Zodiac version is because Rescue Cat is both very good going first and going second. But the thing is, like you would mention right now, is the fact it can get stopped by entraps like Veiler, like Ash. Yeah. And that's why you run, like, you run Gamma for the opponent Gamma, or you run Gamma for your opponent Ash when they chain it to Rescue Cat, so you are able to plus. And that's also a very good thing to notice, is the fact that the Zodiac version is not able to run Gamma in the main deck, opposed to the fact that the Rescue Cat version can run Gamma in the main deck because you can drop Gamma in multiple instances related to the Rescue Cat.
Yeah.
And like I said previously, Gamma is one of the best entraps, if it's not the best entrap in the game right now.
Yeah.
So, considering the fact you cannot run Gamma and you have to run Torok Blade is the brick of the deck.
Yeah.
Opposed to Rat, which can still make the Ferrigit.
Mm-hmm.
Torok Blade is just a brick, and you have to draw Torok Blade with the Tanky, or Torok Blade with we have to draw Torok Blade, Tanky, and a Tri-Brigade monster, or you have to draw just the Rat, which can send the Torok Blade in the graveyard, and then you go for Chakanine, and then you can turn into Ferrigit to play. But the difference, the big difference, in my opinion, is the fact that people are still sticking on the Zodiac version, but even though they realized the fact it can be stopped by one singular Veiler or Impermanence.
Mm-hmm.
Why it can be stopped on Veiler or Impermanence? Just use the Veiler or Impermanence on Borbo. Borbo. How do you call that?
Borbo. The Borbo, the XYZ, or the Zodiac XYZ? Yeah.
If you stop your opponent from being able to attack you directly with the Borbo, and you just summon your monster in attack, and if you consider a mirror, every monster will be in attack because your end board will be mostly made by link monsters. So they are in attack. So if you use Veiler or Impermanence on Borbo, they are locked. So there is no Zodiac in the graveyard, so you cannot go into Chakanine. You have just the body on the board. So what's the difference in between a Rescue Cat and the Zodiac version? I still don't get it. I just think the best version of that deck is with the Rescue Cat, because even though you get stopped, they are forced to add the Rescue Card in their turn, because otherwise will be still another threat. So it's a consistently threat. And also the fact you can chain a Gamma to your opponent entrap to protect your Rescue Cat, which is huge in my opinion. And also, now we talk about, now we said the Zodiac version loses to Veiler, but someone would say, but the Zodiac version is able to make Zeus, and the Rescue Cat version is not able to make Zeus. No, I'm totally disagreeing on that, because I usually make Zeus in my Rescue Cat version.
Yeah.
And now you will say, how do you make Zeus in your Rescue Cat version? Is by summoning Mannequin Cat number 29.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you hover with your mouse on the effect of a Mannequin Cat number 29, the effect is just crazy. It's the best card in my extra deck. If you use Mannequin Cat, you will be able to reborn a monster of your opponent. It's an Xyz 2, so you can summon Kit and another level 2 to make it. So you can do it with double Kit on with. Make it. I usually use the double Kit to make it.
Okay.
I mean, there is also the Keras, which is level 2. But I usually keep the Keras in the deck for the extended plays.
Yeah.
So you make it with the Kit, Keras, whatever you want. Then use the effect detach one material, special summon a monster from your opponent graveyard to his board, and then it has a second effect. So you special summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard in attack position. Like, for example, let's say you special summon your opponent Ash to his board attack position. Then the effect of Mannequin says if your opponent special summons a monster his board, you can target that monster, and you can special summon a monster from your deck with the same attribute or type to your field.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ash is fire, you can special summon Fractal.
Uh-huh.
You can special summon another Kit. If you reborn a Ghost Bell from your opponent graveyard, you can special summon Keras.
Oh, yeah.
If you reborn a Wind monster from your opponent graveyard, you can special summon Nerval. And it's a crazy extender in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because at that point you will have 2 material in the graveyard because you detach the Kit. And then you can start to play, and then you have still an Xyz on the board. If for whichever reason something goes wrong, the game plan, you can still make Zeus. But it's Zeus with the two materials. But it's still Zeus.
Yeah. You prefer the consistency, right? Because the Thorblade is, you don't want to run the brick, right? So I'm assuming if you're running the Rescue Cat build, you're running Prosperity, right?
Yes, I'm running Prosperity. But there is also another point about Prosperity being better than Pot of Desire, is because even though the +2 is very good, in my opinion, I think you need the resources to win the mirror match. You don't want to banish your Keras, you don't want to banish your Kits, you don't want to banish your Fractal.
Yeah.
You need the most resources as possible to win the mirror match. And I think cutting off some options in your extra deck is way better than cutting off some options in your main deck. And then we go back to the point. If you affect the main deck, your gameplay changes a lot. If you affect your extra deck, your gameplay can be usually played around that.
That makes sense. Then
You will decide to banish. You will decide what to banish from the extra deck. You will not decide what is gonna happen from the top of your deck, and it can be in a very little percentage. You can be a 100% lose condition from Desire. Like resolving Desire can actually cost you the game.
Yeah.
Even though you are in a
I do, like, if a lot of the times when I win against Tri Brigade is because they resolve Desires, and then if the game goes for like 2 or 3 turns, they usually don't have resources at that point because they banished out like multiple names, so they kind of just like they folded to their own desires. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, you kind of don't want to banish like too many of your names, right? Because it can mess you up.
Correct. It's correct. And then we talk about the Ancient Warrior version. Now, my Ancient Warrior version runs one combo for normal summon. Okay. So when I talk about one card being able to combo as normal summon, I play 2 Rescue Cat in my Ancient Warrior version, and I play two blue Ancient Warrior, which is Sumo. Then I play Zongu. Zongu is the green one. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
If you know that.
Yeah. I was looking at your match. I was looking at your match. The Ancient Warrior. Yeah.
I like that version because it does not lose to Lancia, and it does not lose to Contact. That's why I really like that version. It can play usually around those cards, and that's the strong point of the deck. And also going second is very good against Shadow, because when you use Summon, then you special summon Zou from your end. Summon has a second effect, which triggers on the resolution of Zou, which can spin back in hand one monster of your opponent control.
So it gets the Winda, right?
It's very good against Winda. And another thing is the fact there are 3 line of plays. If you open broken, you can play through Impermanence and still end on Apollousa Revolt. Okay, when I say open broken, I mean Sammo plus Kit plus other 3 Brigade monster. So it's a 3-card combo. With the 3-card combo, you can end with a full board.
Yeah.
Even though your opponent has double Enthrop.
Oh. Yeah, a lot of people are sleeping on the Ancient Warrior build, right? Would you say you have been the one who has been like popularizing this build? I know, yeah, for sure, because I haven't even seen anybody playing this build until you. So.
Because I found in the deck lack of resources with the Tanky, because Tanky was only able to search Fractal, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I think I need at that point when I searched for the Ancient Warrior, I was thinking I need a tanky to give me more options. I want to be versatile.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, when I open Fractal Tanky, I want to be able to search another card. And that's why I ended up playing three. It's just three Ancient Warrior. It's a little package, but it makes a huge difference against interruptions, in my opinion.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Now that we're seeing Lancia being more popular, I've seen it more popular now than like it lost a lot of its popularity after Dino got hit, and
Hmm?
then like recently I've been seeing it more uh because decided in against Tri Brigade or
I mean, Drytron plays one Lance and side deck because they can search it with the Benton. So at that point, since I play against the Drytron going second, I have 18 entraps. I want to be able to play around the Lancia because they are going to search it no matter what.
yeah.
And that's why I'm playing that version. I think it's just the most versatile version. I think it's just one of the best one of the best I found. And there are three very good line of plays you can go with there with them, and they can usually play through interruptions if they are played correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. Tanky. A lot of people expected Tanky to get hit, but I think I hit on the
Thank you.
OCG. I believe they got like limited or semi-limited, right? Tanky. Uh,
Yes. I think should have been hit in my opinion too. I think the card is insane. It's a Rota. Why Rota is limited to one,
yeah.
and then we have Tenki limited, and then we have Tenki S3. I think Rota makes a bit more sense because you can search connector to
Yeah.
special summon Dolphin and FTK your opponent with connector.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah.
But still think the Tenki is crazy and it deserves
Yeah.
for sure to be limited.
I mean, Tanky equals like Appaloosa plus Revolt, right? Just, if it
But
goes uninter.
no, Tenki does not do that. Tenki does just revolt on his own.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, you
And
need.
make either Apollosa or you make just revolt.
Oh, okay. So you need an extender to be able to do that. Yeah, yeah,
It's just another name.
yeah.
Just another name, it's fine. It's a two-card combo to make Apollosa revolt.
Do you run one Keras or two Keras or? I've seen some lists
I
with
think,
three of them.
I think Triceras is incorrect. I think the card sucks on his own, but you need a second one for the for the long game states. So for the long games, or when you want to special summon it with cat, rescue cat. Right. You need an extender because your opponent stopped your normal summon with Veiler Impermanence. I think Keras is a bit too much. I think if you play Prosperity, you play it at 2. If you play the size, you can consider it at 3. I'm just not a fan of Keras. The card is not that good.
Yeah, yeah,
Because if you think about it, the thing is, you open Keras and Nerval, what do you do? Go -1.
yeah.
So
Exactly.
because then you special summon Keras, but you will not have enough monsters in the graveyard. So with the Nerval, you have to search the fractal. You discard the fractal to send another monster, and then you have to banish it. Does nothing. If you the only combination good is Keras plus Kit. Keras plus Kit is full combo. Yes, I totally agree on that. But you are not running three Keras because you wanna see it with the Kit. I think you just run two Keras in case you get stopped on your normal summon and you want to special summon later.
Okay.
You don't want to draw it every time, or you want to see it situationally, or you want to see it with the prosperity when you need it. You don't want to have it in your hand. I think you want to search it
Hmm.
prosperity.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And yeah, with the whole prosperity over desires, you don't have to run three. Yeah, I think desires is an insane card, but I do agree with your build more though, because yeah, like you mentioned, you don't want to banish like your Keras's and stuff like that, or your kits, like too many of your kits or any stuff like that.
And also because you can stack your deck with the prosperity. Like not stack. I mean, stack because you put on the bottom the
Mhm.
cards you don't need,
Yeah.
and then there are 5 cards at the bottom of your deck. So if you need, for example, to draw an order, there are there are the numbers of your card -5, and you can calculate the percentage of getting order.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that's a bit
Yeah. And like the scariest
side.
thing, yeah, the scariest thing is post side deck seeing your opponent prosperity for 6. That's scary. Like,
Mm.
and I have an Ash. Like, what do you do, Nesh? Do you
Oh,
if
I drop it.
you
I
drop
drop it.
you drop the Ash right when they prosperity for 6?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, if you're talking about the game too, I drop it,
yeah,
no question.
yeah,
Because if you're siding Storm, if you're siding Twin Twister, if you have impermanence in your deck and I have Apollosa, I have to protect my Apollosa anyway, and I think I drop it. Like there is no question. If it's the game too and you prosperity for 6, no way.
yeah, yeah. Because it's too scary. The cards like 6 is just too much. Like you're bound to see one of your side deck cards at that point. You know.
Yeah.
Um.
It's a
So.
very good bait.
Mhm.
Also a very good bait.
Exactly. Yeah. Prosperity is insane. Like that you can see 6 cards. Like that's crazy. Like.
Also, another thing about the prosperity is the fact you can decide if you want it to be a bait or not. You can banish 3 and dig from the top of your deck,
Oh,
or
because.
banish 6,
Mhm.
force your opponent to interrupt you.
Mm, that makes sense. That makes sense. So like, cause I see that usually whenever people dig for 3, it doesn't get ashed usually, right? And then like, so if you really need something, sometimes it's better to just dig 3 at that point, right? 'Cause like that way you
There are
don't.
some situations in which you want to dig 3 instead of 6. Yeah.
And that's smart right there. That's 200 IQ right there. I hadn't even thought about that. Cause like,
They
yeah,
are not gonna stop prosperity for 3, they are gonna stop prosperity for 6. There is no
wow,
way they're gonna stop it for 3. It just does not happen.
wow, that's
In,
crazy.
even me, I would not stop prosperity for 3.
Yeah,
Make prosperity for 6 is another story, but prosperity for 3, I'm not stopping that.
yeah, cause like there's like no way to tell if that's a bait, and if it's a bait, it's like a small bait. So yeah, most of the time it's better not to take the bait, right?
Yeah.
Um, and that's some crazy high IQ right there. I'm gonna start practicing that. Um, those little strategies that win you like more games in the long run, right? That a lot of people don't realize. Um,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are very little things, but it stacks to each other. Stuck to each other.
yeah, yeah.
Makes the difference in the gameplay.
But all right, Dinesh, you are the master. You. That's why I say like I've heard some people call you the king of dueling book, and I agree. I agree. Your knowledge,
Oh, I
the.
really appreciate you guys. Like I'm not that good. I think there is someone which is better than me.
Mhm.
It's I did you ever heard about Ryan Yu?
Yes, I have heard of it, right? You.
Oh, that guy, the kid is insane. Like the kid is massive. Like he has like a cube Rubik brain.
Wow.
And if you play with someone like him, it's just another. It's just a different world. I was lucky to be able to interact with him
Wow.
as well. It also improved. Like he's a very young guy,
Uh huh.
but doesn't matter how young he is because like he has a very very high knowledge about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
I really respect. I really respect him. I respect the other people in WAF like Herman Anson. I respect people like Vladis. I respect people like everyone in WAF basically. There is also Neven in WAF.
Yeah. So many great players out there, for sure, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All I think yeah. If you wanna talk like if about the best players being there, I would say so. I would say so. Like every player in there at least won something, even online or in real life. Talking about YCS, talking about LCS. For example, Herman Hanson. For example, Gabriel Netz is there. Neven also
Yeah,
there.
yeah, Nevin. Yeah. Are you affiliated with the LCS, or do you just participate in there, or like you mentioned something about like LCS prep, so I was like, oh, are
I
you?
mean,
Mhm.
I am their head judge and their manager.
Oh,
So yeah,
you're their judge. Oh, okay. Yes, yes. Nash over here
yeah.
is the man with 1,000 jobs.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in this period, Nicholas John went in vacation, so me and Ani Jawari are managing the whole LCS stuff. We are working on the GOT format. We are working on the current format, and I'm also uh, busy with the developer to improve our website. And I can tell you, it will be one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh websites you ever saw.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I will tell everybody about your website, Nash.
I mean,
Mhm.
thank you a lot, and we will also run a lot of free tournaments. So if you wanna win some prosperity for free, gone.
All right, and yeah, that's anybody that's listening to us. Please uh, join. I mean, check out his website, check out his Discord, check out his YouTube channel. Hopefully, I can get like a link. I'll get. I'll post it on the description. A link to your
I will
to
give you the
everything.
link.
Yeah, and then like that's.
Um,
Do you want to say anything else, Nash?
the last thing is a shout out, like I said, to WAF, to TMW, to the Yu-Gi-Oh community in general, and to you as well to make this interview to me, and I really appreciate
Hey,
that. I it's very um, and the last thing I would say, it takes a bit for me to check out the people in the Colosseum because there are only two people searching for the infos about the players, and because I'm making sure I know who you are and how you are gonna interact in the Colosseum. So I try to not. I try my best to not get scammers there. And until now, we are open at Science 2 months. We have 800 people there, and there is no scammer. We got no scammer yet, so it's working. It takes time. It takes 3 days per person.
yeah.
It's working, and I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in the Discord, people, and it's a very good community. So if you're a competitive player, you're gonna want to check it out because it's some awesome people right there. Um, but
Thank you a lot.
all right then, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Nish, for joining this podcast. All right, all right.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you.